ॐ अज्ञानातिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपं तदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरुं श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवन् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदां सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितां च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते सप्तजना देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिया कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुत एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So welcome back all of you to another session of Bhagavad Gita in 18 days. So we will start chapter 16 today. Very important chapter. Will somebody sum up? Volunteer to sum up what we did yesterday. Satyanand Sahu Prabhuji, can you please sum up? I guess Prabhuji is not there. Archana Mataji, can you please sum up?
Sure, Mataji. Hello.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please tell us.
So yesterday we were in chapter 15, the Yoga of Supreme Person. So in the very beginning of the chapter, the Lord gives an example of a banyan tree, and the Lord gives an example of banyan tree, which like explaining about the material nature of human beings and how our desires are. So just like the material world, banyan tree is upside down, like roots are up and the branches are down. Our activities are also like that. The actual reality in this world exists in the spiritual world. One activity leads to another, one desire leads to another. So many desires that we have haven't known, we are and so many desires are created that we don't even realize where all it started. So the roots of the banyan tree has to be cut off in order to stop growing all these desires. So nothing in this world is constant. Everything keeps changing. So the eternal reality is only constant. So in order to cut off the roots, we should. So in order to stop all these desires from growing and growing, we need to cut off the roots. And we also discussed about service comes only after selflessness. So no selfish desire other than Lord. We should get out of this fearful banyan tree, and we should naturally incline to serve by being detached from the materialistic desires. So senses develop desires, and developed desires are responsible. Desire decide which modes of guna we belong to. And all the desires are due to association of three gunas. And Maya is so strong that it pulls down us. And then we discussed about uh, we should stop working for our own desire, but we should work for God's desire. And in order to cut that banyan tree, the main first thing we need to do is we need to know the root cause of. We need to search the origin, the root cause of our desire, and then we need to detach from the desires. And with knowledge, we can cut off all the desires and transfer that attachment to the spiritual world instead of the materialistic world. And one should not be deluded by pride. We should be humble than blade of grass. And you gave us an example of how Prabhupada kept his cool when one person from the crowd has abused him. So he also, when devotees asked why didn't you react anything, so then Prabhupada explains that he actually abused me, but my soul is pure. I didn't take that anything. So one should be like that. Always keep their soul pure and not be and should not react by something which is not needed. Everything belongs to God. When one understands the things the way they are, he will be he'll be happy and can easily surrender himself to the God. And as just like air carries aroma to the one from one place to another place, our materialistic desires also are carried by our mind, intelligent and false ego from one body to another body after our death. So we need to keep them pure. As a person with knowledge will know everything because of one's desire, the desire of either you or of someone. Lord is the fire of our digestion. Like Lord is the heat in our body, which actually causes digestion to our body. And then we discussed about uh, and God says that He's seated in everyone's heart, and forgetful and remembrance and knowledge, everything comes from Him. We have Paramatma seated in our soul. The inner voice is Paramatma. We actually sometimes when we do something or when we have to take any decision, our inner soul which speaks to us is actually the Paramatma. So we have to listen to our Paramatma what he has to say, whether to take up or not to take up that things. And there are in the materialistic world there are two types of things, like one is fallible and one is infallible. So fallible means that fallen from actual constitution position, which is actually corrupted. But infallible is something which is not corrupted. It is in the spiritual world. And we have two weaknesses of our heart. One is uh, separation from God. So when we separate ourselves from God, it is called one of the weakness. And attaching to desires is the second weakness of our heart. And then you narrated as a story about Ravana, where Ravana asked all of his poor wives, what would you do if I die? So then fourth wife is considered as money and property, where it transfers to another person as soon as we die. And third wave is considered to be relationships and friendships, so it will come to us only until cremator and fire. Then second wise is our own body. Until someone burns it, our body is destructed. And only thing that will come with us even after our death is our consciousness, mind and intelligence, that will be carried from one body to another body in through soul. So this we ended our chapter with this, and then uh, that's it, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Mataji, for summing up so much in detail. So now we have understood what these three modes of nature are. Now we will start what are the influences of these three modes of nature in our lives. So we will start chapter 16, the divine and the demoniac nature. So we'll recite the first three
Mataji,
shlokas. Hare Krishna. Somebody wants to
Hare
say?
Krishna.
Yeah, Mataji.
Mataji, yesterday you have said puja, love, and pratishtha. What
Yes.
was that? And relate to.
Actually, now this today's chapter, no, Mataji, it will be discussed in detail. How these
Acha.
three, puja, lab, pratishtha are actually first three. The another three anarthas will come out of this. This we are
Okay.
going to discuss in detail today.
Oh, okay. Okay, Mataji. Thank
So,
you.
Sri Bhagavanuvacha Abhayam Sattva Samsuddhir Yoga Vyavasthiti Danam Damascha Yajnascha Swadhyayastapam Arjavam Ahimsa Satyam Akrodhastyaga Shantirapashunam Daya Bhuteshva Aluptam Mardvavam Riv Achapalam तेजा क्षमा धृता शौचम अद्रोहो नातिमानिता भवन्ति संपदम दैवम अभिजातस्य भारत. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, the freedom from envy, from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharta, belong to godly men endowed with divine nature. So now we have discussed what the three modes of nature are. And when the Lord is describing the banyan tree of the material world, uh, how the three modes of material nature, they combine to nourish, this tree of material life, various branches and leaves of the tree. So if these three modes of material nature are not there, this tree will die down automatically. This entire tree is nourished by these three modes of material nature. So chapter 16 and 17 describe the higher and lower branches on that tree. Krishna thus begins this chapter by describing the qualities that elevate us, those born of goodness. So when we associate with these three modes of material nature, what happens? What happens actually? So based on our association, our position on this tree is set. Like if you are now, what kind of qualities you acquire by this kind of association, and how these qualities are going to decide your position in the material world. So if you see that entire, upside down tree, the lowest there is actually the top in material. The topmost part of the tree is the lowest spiritually because it's upside down. So when based on how we are, like the people who associate more with tamoguna, na, they will be right at the bottom, near the head of the tree, upside down. Then people who are in rajoguna, they will be somewhere in the middle. And people in the sattva-guna will be topmost. So based on our association with these three modes, we will acquire a particular nature. According to that particular nature, a field of activity will be provided to us. And in that field, we will definitely get facilities to do activities with either elevate us or degrade us. So now these 26 qualities which are summed up here in shloka number 1 to 3. These are the qualities which are acquired by people in the sattva gun who associate with sattva gun. They will acquire these qualities. And like we read in the 13th chapter, our qualities is the actual knowledge we have gained. Knowledge that has transformed our character and nature. The rest is all information. We may be a, bank of information, but knowledge is only, a true knowledge is only that, which transforms us, which transforms our character. So, in the beginning of the 15th chapter, the banyan tree of this material world was explained. The extra roots coming out of it were compared to the activities of the living entities, some auspicious, some inauspicious. In the 9th chapter also, the devas or the godly and the asuras, the ungodly or demons, were explained. Now, according to Vedic rites, activities in the mode of goodness are considered auspicious for progress on the path of liberation. And such activities are known as Devi Prakriti, transcendental by nature. So these qualities, people who have these qualities, they are under the Devi Prakriti, divine nature, even materially. Those who are situated in transcendence, they are almost out of the jurisdiction of Maya. They are under the spiritual nature and make progress on the path of liberation. So people who have these qualities, they progress rapidly on the path of liberation. For those who are acting in the mode of passion and ignorance, on the other hand, there is no possibility of liberation. So if you really want to get liberated, you want real happiness, so sattva gun is so how, because of our association, we will acquire a particular nature which will become our destiny. So our association plays such a vital role in carving our future. So, but those who are in either Rajogun or Tamogun, for them there is no possibility. No, you can never understand the message of God if you are in Rajogun or Tamogun. Unless and until some devotee, Krishna, he is that way not very, kind. He will not give his bhakti or knowledge of his self to anybody and everybody. It is the devotees of the Lord who are more merciful. Why? Because the devotees have understood Krishna and they have these qualities. So the devotees, even though a person is not eligible, like he's in Rajogun or Tamogun or Sattvagun, doesn't matter. The devotees are always eager to give Krishna to everyone. Even if Krishna says, no, don't tell this, they will take the risk of even telling, actually Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, do not disturb those who are very attached to material sense gratification. But devotees, because of their natural compassion, like Narad Muni, he will go and tell even Indra, Indra, why you are in such a pathetic condition? They feel very sad. Why? Because they know, they are in knowledge. So here Srila Prabhupada concludes his purport by reminding us to cultivate transcendental qualities. So we have to cultivate these transcendental qualities in our character if you want liberation. And born of activity, as stated earlier, are born of activity in the mode of goodness. So first of all, we must associate with people who are in the mode of goodness. That is the only way. Not just people, whatever our Gyan Indriya, we had uh, summed them up in the previous chapters. So what we hear, what we see, what we smell, what we taste, what we touch, everything is our association. We perceive the outside world with the help of these Gyan Indriyas. So these Gyan Indriyas have to be purified. If we are going to contaminate them by association of Rajogun or Tamogun, there is no chance of us getting liberated. 4. Pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demoniac nature, O son of Pritha. On the other hand, pride, arrogance, conceit, anger, harshness, and ignorance. The people who are associating with Rajogun and Tamogun, they have these qualities. In fact, we'll discuss all the demoniac qualities in detail. So this is a very good chapter for you to introspect yourself and also make choices of your association. Like immediately, as soon as you meet a strange person also, just by observing these qualities and the corresponding activities in them, you will know where he stands. So in this verse, the royal road to hell is described. The demoniac want to make show of religion and advancement in spiritual science, though they do not know the principles. So the principles, people, they do lot of ceremonies, pujas, and they pose, no, we are very, but they compromise on all the principles. I had met a very senior devotee, direct associate of Srila Prabhupada, and very old person. He was a Dutchman. And he was telling me, that there is a person in my opposite house. He has made a very grand house. And he told me, see what a grand entrance I have made. He's into all kinds of abominable activities. No principles are followed by him, but he made a perfect Vastu house. So he was telling me, in my mind, I was thinking, you have made the gateway to hell actually. So people think they are very religious. People think they are doing, uh, everything as per religiosity, correct. But they do not know the principle behind all this. So the gateway to hell anywhere, the royal road to hell, they are always arrogant or proud in possessing some type of education or so much wealth. So pride, it develops in such people because They do not acknowledge, they cannot understand the supremacy of Lord. They are puffed up. That is why the Lord showed the Virat Swarup to Arjuna to make him realize what is your position. They desire to be worshipped by others and demand respectability. Like Srila Prabhupada, I narrated, somebody abused him in middle of 2000 people and he just kept calm. A person in Rajogun, Tamogun, demoniac person will not keep quiet. He will give back. How dare you say all this? They will never forgive. So, although they do not command respect, so they command respect. Every, like Hiranyakashipu, I am God, respect me, worship me. They do not know. Over trifles, they become very angry and speak harshly, not gently. They do not know what should be done and what should not be done. They do everything whimsically according to their own desire, and they do not recognize any authority. I am the wisest, I am the smartest, I am the best, I am this, I am that. They don't accept any authority. Please remember that even, if you want some material knowledge, you need to be humble. You should be humble enough to take the position of a student first. If you know everything, then what is the need of a teacher? So these kind of people, they never learn because they are not humble. They don't accept any authority. So where is the scope for their improvement? They limit themselves by their own, mentally created boundaries. Though the truth is that knowledge is unending. And what is true knowledge is through all the Vedas, through all these things, we have to know Krishna. So these demoniac qualities are taken on by them from the beginning of their bodies in the wombs of their mothers. So it starts with the Garbhadan only, because based on what state of mind the parents are conceiving that special, child in the womb, uh, based on their mental setup, various types of, atmas are attracted to that womb. Like Kashyap Muni and Diti. Once I think Diti, she wanted to, be with her husband at the wrong time. They say like Sandhya Kal, Brahma Muhurat and all. It's not nice time for all these activities like consummating, etc. And the result was that Hiranyakashipu was conceived by Diti. Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So when the mindset of the parents, it attracts different kinds of souls into their womb. So right from conception, they are demonic in the wombs of their mothers, and they grow. As they grow, they manifest all these inauspicious qualities. And they, as parents, everybody loves their children. But these qualities determine, and we must have that insight to see what qualities our children have. And at the time of conception only they are demons, and slowly as they grow up, these qualities will manifest in their activities. You can see clearly what a big demon this person was. 5. The transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demoniac qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities. So very clearly said, these demoniac qualities, they are the cause of our bondage. Why? Because we have chosen to associate with the Rajogun and Tamogun, These are the result. These qualities will develop in you. If you choose to associate with the sattva gun, the divine qualities will develop in you. So, but Krishna also tells Arjuna, don't worry, Arjuna, you have all divine qualities. O son of Pratha, in this world there are two kinds of created beings. One is called divine and the other demoniac. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me the demoniac. So first, the Lord, actually we can talk to no amount on these qualities. How deeply rooted these qualities are in our psyche. But time is very limited here, so we will not discuss them in detail. So the conditioned living entities are divided into two classes: those who are born with divine qualities and follow a regulated life. So what is a regulated life? Following the four principles of dharma. That is a regulated life. No meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. This is a regular. These are the principles of dharma. Whether you are, doing some puja or not, of course that is important. But you are following lot of religiosity, but you do not follow the principles. What is the use? It will go wasted. Those who are born with divine qualities follow regulated life. That is to say, they abide by the injunctions in the scriptures and by the authorities. They at least follow, like there are Puranas, 18 Puranas. Even at the lowest level, some kind of regulation is followed. Even for meat eaters, they are also still better. But people who just deride the scriptures, they are pure demons. They just don't accept any authority. One should perform duties in the light of authoritative scriptures. This mentality is called divine. So people who are following the Varnashrama Dharma, a regulated type of life, they are divine because they at least accept the authority of the scriptures. Whereas the demoniac, they just deride God. Who is God? All this is crap. We don't believe. You see, just by not accepting the truth will, like, there is an example, pigeons at times, when they see a cat, they close their eyes. They think that because I cannot see the cat cannot see me. So they close their eyes. And what happens? The cat pounces on the pigeon. So us not accepting things will not change the truth. So these demons, they don't accept. There is no other. So, and who act according to his whims is called demoniac or asuric. There is no other criterion but obedience to the regulative principles of scriptures. Krishna will himself confirm this point at the end of this chapter. So 7, those who are demoniac do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them. So they are highly disillusioned mentality. So, O son of Pratha, the understanding which can distinguish between religion and irreligion, between action and should be done and action that should not be done, is in mode of passion. So whenever we glide or we fall down to the level of uh, Rajogun, not Sattvagun, it is only in Rajvagun that lust is born. Sattvagun is not conducive for lust. So our downfall begins. as soon as we are associate with the lower modes of nature. Because Shastra defines the difference between engagement in religious and irreligious life, it follows that those bereft of discrimination between proper and improper actions are also bereft of either faith in the Shastra or a proper understanding of it. Actually, His Holiness Sri Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he often says that faith we have in, without faith you cannot even take a step ahead. We put our faith in something or the other. The only difference is where we are putting our faith. A dacoit will put his faith in another dacoit, you know. A drunkard will put his faith in liquor. But here the Lord is saying, unless and until your faith is dovetailed to me, things will not change. So, thus the demoniac, rather than basing their actions on Shastra, base them on bodily consciousness. Therefore, they act with little concern for truth or welfare of others. Because they are so selfishly motivated with their own desires, they seldom act for benefit of others. Whereas a Brahmana or a person in Sattva Gun, he is highly responsible. He worries for everybody. How will this person better? How will that person better? How everyone will better? He is not just thinking. So they are like this. Even if a demon propounds a philosophy, its values compared to the preaching of a vulture and jackal. So this example is given here by Srila Prabhupada, you know, that suppose, you know, the vulture and jackal, both they feed on dead bodies actually. The vulture also and jackal also. So they are usually hovering around crematoriums. And when, you know, somebody comes to burn a dead body there, they start preaching. Why they start preaching? The crow will preach. What is the use of this? They don't want them to burn the body. This life, this body is temporary and it has to go. So you can leave the body here and go back, you know. The jackal will preach to the all the relatives of the person. Why? So that he can feed on the body. Vulture also, he comes and he preaches against what the jackal, he says, Are you can leave the body in the middle only and go back, you know, no need to go to the crematorium only, because don't be attached to the body. So this kind of preaching, which people who pose as very religious and who don't follow the principles, is useless. 8. They say that this world is unreal with no foundation, no God in control. They say it is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust. So that is what is the mentality today. If a man and woman meet, children are born. What is so? But what is the living force? We don't have that capacity to analyze. See, how is it that when a person dies, chemically everything is present, the body is right in front of you. He has eyes, nose, skin, but why is he dead? Because the living force has gone out. What is that living force? They don't have any knowledge about. So they don't. 9. Following such conclusions, the demoniac who have lost themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Actually, in this verse, the word ugra karma is used. Ugra means useless work. So they are engaged in horrible work and devote themselves to malicious and cruel activities by causing the world to deviate from the principle of spiritual life. They are enemies of the world and thus they exert their influence for the world's destruction. So text 9 contains an often used term ugra karma or painful, distressful, horrible and atrocious activities in this purport to this verse. Ugra karma. So Srila Prabhupada says activities which do not benefit anybody, especially in their spiritual advancement, they are all Ugra karma. They may yield some comfort temporarily in your lives, material lives, but in no way. Now suppose a person has an air conditioner. Is he going to, he may be comfortable, but is it in any way helping him to elevate spiritually? Is he helping him to progress on this banyan tree upward towards the spiritual abode? If all the facilities put together are only making us more animalistic, then we will glide down to the lower section of this banyan tree. There is no chance of crossing. Now, atom bomb and all these kinds of, so much effort must have gone into just producing that atom bomb. So many scientists, so much energy, so much money must have gone. But what was the result of that atom bomb? What did it do? Destroyed everything. So this kind of advancement, this kind of technology which creates miseries for others, this is demoniac. 10. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always prone to unclean work, attracted by impermanent. They are like, what is the difference between spiritual and material? Material is temporary, spiritual is eternal. So they are naturally attracted to the temporary. What is temporary? Except for God, actually everything is temporary. That is why they say Ram Nam Satya hai. When a person dies, this realization comes momentarily to other people also, that we are also going to die. So they say Ram Nam Satya hai, because Satya, truth, means that which never changes. And it is only God who never changes. Except Him, everything changes in the material world. Nothing is constant. So these demoniac people, they are more attracted to the temporary things. They are more attached, more inclined. They don't have interest for eternity at all. They are just busy. And they are happy with their materialistic pursuits. They are always prone to unclean work. What do you mean by unclean work? Wherever the principles are compromised and anarthas are created. Now today you see neighbors envy, owners pride. What is being propagated? Envy. One of the anarthas, biggest anarthas for the cause of our bondage. But that is also being utilized to create more desires. What is the purpose of all this media? To create more materialistic desires. Just by seeing these things, everybody is longing for them. They may not need it, but the longing is there. So 11 to 12, they believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable. Bound by a network of hundreds and thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. So why you need so much money? So that you can have a better sense of sense gratification. So not that you are going to propagate Krishna consciousness with that money. So most people work very hard for this purpose. Like, the dog eats in a very unclean way on the road, but some person has the desire to eat in a gold plate. He is going to eat the same food. He will experience the same satisfaction that a dog experiences by eating on the road. But the ego is not satiated. The hunger will be satiated, but ego is not satiated until and unless. So this is how the material world moves. You have, even at school level, children go to school and they have seen a certain pencil box which has music when you open it. Until that child has that pencil box, he is going to trouble his parents. Association, this is what it does. We associate with these kind of things. We saw it. Sometimes you smell it, some aroma, coming, eatable or something, and you want to have that again. I have seen people, who fly down to certain countries to eat a certain kind of food. So just imagine, to just that one desire, he worked hard for how many hours to earn money for the ticket, for the accommodation. This is all Ugra Karma. Is it helping him on the banyan tree in some way? Just by going to a certain place and eating certain kind of food? So it is waste of time. You have to move upward on this tree. That is the purpose of life. The demons have unlimited desires, and driven by those desires, they are drowning in the ocean of sense gratification until the moment of death. Pralayantam. The demoniac possess determination, but only for sense gratification. Pasa means rope. Asa pasa satir means that they are caught in the net of attempting to satisfy their myriad desires. It is from the rope of their desires that they will one day hang. The motivation for work today is, I have seen, uh, the especially the modern generation, they are in so much anxiety, always in front of the system. Many of them, they develop severe problem with their skin, with their bones, because of this. So they have so many desires. And sometimes you say, if you have this kind of a problem, chalo, quit for some time. No, they will continue. Vaikuntha means no anxiety, without anxiety. That is Vaikuntha. And here we see so much anxiety. Youngsters are going to counselors, they are going to psychiatrists to solve their problems, stress related issues. Even the companies at corporate level, they are arranging for this kind of help. Because so much stress is involved. When you have material desires, you have to work very hard to meet them. If you don't have these material desires, you don't even need to work so hard to keep your body and soul together. 13 to 15. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today. I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man, surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifice. I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. All these things are false. We are not powerful. We are not the cause. Nothing belongs to us. Ishavasham idam sarvam yat kincha jagatya jagat. Yeah, Isopanishad. First shloka itself says that the Lord is the proprietor of everything in the universe. Shah Jahan made Taj Mahal. Is Shah Jahan there now? Where is he now? Taj Mahal is there. To whom does the Taj Mahal belong? It belongs to God. We only acquire pride by attaching ourselves to such a property. I made it. Actually, it is not ours. So, Srila Prabhupada gives very nice example in Isopanishad, that a person is making a building and the laborer is working hard day out, day in, to make that building. So will that building belong to that labor? He's working very hard. In fact, the person who has invested money, he's working hard in his own way. But at any given point, will the building belong to that laborer? No. All these things are false. I am the Lord of everything. He is not. I am perfect. We are not. We have imperfect senses. We all make mistakes. Powerful and happy. Powerful. Compared to Lord, what is our power? We are happy. Ashaswatam dukkhalayam. The Lord has declared. Momentary happiness is there in this world. And surrounded by aristocratic relatives. I am the richest and surrounded by aristocratic relatives. The relatives leave you till only the crematorium. They cannot save you from death, your relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. So they live in a fool's paradise. They don't accept the truth. 16. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become so too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. So because of this mentality, they become too attached to sense gratification and their position on the banyan tree goes down, down, down. In fact, when they are too much into sense gratification, the next field of activity they have is animal life. Because they have no discretion. Human beings, Aryan means person who knows the value and importance of human birth, how it can, liberate us. So, thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusion, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell. Self-complacent, always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifice in name only, without following any rules or regulations. So even people who follow religiosity, but compromise on principles, it's of no use. The purpose of all the yagyas, all the pujas that we do is to, transcend these three modes of material nature. From mode of ignorance, graduate to mode of passion, and then finally graduate to mode of goodness, and then Shuddha Sattva, pure goodness, transcendental, beyond the three modes. So Prabhupada mentions, Srila Prabhupada mentions in this purport to text 18 that demoniac envy not only the Lord but the Vedic scriptures also. So why they are envious of the Lord? Because all the opulences that we see around us, people have some amount of opulences, like somebody may be beautiful, somebody may be rich, somebody may be very powerful, somebody may be very, famous. These are all opulence. But how did they get this opulence? It is just a fraction of Lord's opulence only, which Lord has given to these particular people as per their previous desire and activities. Lord, they are only a part of Lord's opulence. So if somebody is jealous of somebody else's, maybe somebody is very beautiful, you are actually envious of Krishna, because all opulences belong to Krishna. So when you are envious of someone, you are actually envious of God, because all opulences belong to Him. Those who are envious and mischievous, who are lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life. So this is the result of cultivating envy. So whenever we have this element of envy in our heart coming up, we must immediately consult Bhagavad Gita. Somebody is beautiful, very good. Krishna has loved this person and given him a part of his beauty. Somebody is very rich, nice. Krishna has mercy on this person. That is why he has given him so much money. So be envious means what I have, no one else should have. And what others have, they should not enjoy, I should enjoy. This is envy. Somebody is beautiful, she should not be beautiful. She doesn't deserve to be beautiful. I should be beautiful. This is envy. And we have this envy in us. We are envious of the Lord because all opulences belong to Him. If we are envious of someone, we are envious of the Lord. To such people, what the Lord does, He casts them into the material existence, deep down the banyan tree, so that they never understand the concept of God or God realization, into various demoniac species of life, especially animal. The biggest fear that we should have in our life is being cast into the lower species of life. You become an earthworm, you become an insect, you become an animal where you lose all intellect, to understand the self and God. That is the biggest fear one should have. 20. Attaining repeated birth among the species of demoniac life. O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So, what is the result of associating with Rajogun and Tamogun is described. So Arjuna may ask, but after many lifetimes, they should be eventually receive your mercy, by which they will be freed from their demoniac birth. Lord Krishna answers, these foolish persons take birth in demoniac forms of life, birth after birth, failing to achieve. They descend to lower forms of life, even taking birth as dogs. So what is dog mentality? Have bone, have freedom to mate anywhere, bark as you like, eat as you like. That is the mentality of a dog. That it is clearly stated that demoniac people, life after life, are put into wombs of similar demons. Similar demons means people who are like it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, one of the symptoms of Kali Yuga is that even a beggar will be proud of a dime. Like, एक भिखारी को एक कौड़ी का भी घमंड होगा. He has only that one coin or dime, but he will be proud of that. Pride will set in the character of people. Earlier, Ambarish Maharaj was so rich. but he was so humble in spite of having all that money. Birth after birth, they suffer, especially by being born into lower species, because such souls have no desire to get out of the material existence. They don't want Krishna's mercy, and he doesn't give it to them. So, ye yathamam prabhadyanti. Whatever we desire, the Lord responds accordingly. Because these people do not desire to, get out of the material existence, the Lord fulfills that desire by pushing them down into further more material entanglement. 21. There are three gates leading to the hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to degradation of the soul. Mataji's question has come up now. So this lust, anger, and greed, they are the first three anarthas. So Kam, Krodh, and Lobh, these are the three. Then after these, because of the lust, the other things develop. Lust, anger, greed, and then comes pride that Srila Prabhupada has explained. Krodha, anger is born. So here those qualities are so vicious that even one possessing a divine nature should fear them. Keep away. So you must have knowledge what to associate with, what not to associate. For a man and a woman personifies kama, lust, because she is able to gratify all his sense desires. When kama is unsatiated, krodha, anger is born. Anger is very difficult to control. Krodha appears only when our desires are checked. But what if we are able to satisfy our desires without hindrance? Do we then become peaceful? Okay, we get angry when our desires are not fulfilled. So will this anger end if we fulfill our desires somehow or the other? No, we are filled with lobha, greed. Once you fulfill one desire, greed develops. Of us, we wanted a scooter. Now we got a scooter, that desire is fulfilled. Now we want a car. Then that desire is fulfilled. Now we want a better car. Then when you have a better car, we must have two cars, one for children, one for office. Then after you have two cars, then you think, no, we must plan something better. Maybe we can, buy an aircraft when you have more money. So this greed, no, it has no end. Not that you are going to fulfill one desire, your greed will end. So it will lead to more. If you are satisfied with your sense gratification, greed will develop. If you are dissatisfied with your sense gratification, anger will develop. And then without hindrance, do we then know we will be filled with lobha? Greed gives birth to moha. From greed, attachment is born, moha. We are so attached to what we want. And then moha and illusion. Illusion is born. When we are attached and that thing is lost, we become disillusioned, illusion. And loss of discrimination happens. We lose all steadiness of mind when we are in illusion. We lose discretion to choose. Our entire existence is polluted, and that is what happened to Arjuna. And the Lord could see it, that he is in illusion, he is in a very contaminated stage. Next comes mada, the intoxication of pride. From mixture of these five, envy, matsara is able to manifest fully. Thus, all these demoniac qualities are rooted in lust. What is the beginning point? Lust. Lust is actually corrupted form of the original love that we had for Krishna. When we love somebody, you serve that person. And as soon as we come in contact with Rajogun, this love for God is transformed into lust for material life. And your downfall begins. 22. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conductive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. If by knowledge, guidance, and association you are able to escape these three gates, then he performs acts which are conductive to self-realization. He will understand, and his activities also will be so dovetailed. Our choice is clear. Choosing to escape the banyan tree of the material world entails choosing to free ourselves from lust. And lust you will get only when you are in Rajogun. Lust, anger, greed, illusion, pride, and envy. So you have to get rid of these anarthas. And these anarthas are born out of our association. They develop. So yet contemporary civilization, being demoniac, explicitly encourages the cultivation of lust, anger, and greed. Krishna now offers two verses at conclusion to this chapter. First, using a negative statement, Krishna directs us to bring our activities in line with the Shastra. Krishna then, through a positive statement, offers the same direction in the final verse of this chapter. 23. He who discards scriptural injunction and acts according to his own whims and attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So you can, it is a choice. You can go on, behaving whimsically as per your own choice without following the word of God. But what is the result? They don't get anything, neither perfection nor happiness nor supreme destination. You are not happy in the material world also, and there is no question of going to the spiritual world. This is the state. So 24, one should therefore understand what is the duty and what is not the duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So what is the most positive thing? When you say positive thinking is to climb up to the root of the tree. Come to know where all these problems started. If you are placed somewhere in the lower part of the tree, head down, you will be in ignorance. You will never come to know the reality. Then how will you chop off this tree? It will keep multiplying. This birth, next birth, coming births. So here, one should therefore understand what is the duty and what is not the duty by regulation of scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. That is why, knowledge is incomplete. Like vidya, avidya, both are important. What to do, what not to do. That is also knowledge. Just knowing what you have to do will not help. You should know exactly what to avoid also. One should properly use his human life to faithfully follow Shastra to avoid lust, anger, and greed. So to at least gradually elevate himself towards Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada purport carries to the conclusion concept of Krishna has been developed in the past several chapters. So one should be very careful of these three. Many people, they want solutions to their problems in the material world, but they don't know how to, start it. So one must locate the root. The root is these three gunas. And your only choice is which one to associate with consciously. This is a constant practice one must inculcate if one wants to really lead a happy and peaceful life. So here, Srila Prabhupada has written, in the human society, aversion to principles of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all fall downs. That is the greatest offense of human life. Therefore, Maya, the material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always giving us trouble in the shape of threefold miseries. This material energy is constituted of the three modes of material nature. One has to raise himself at least to the mode of goodness before the path to understanding the Supreme Lord can be opened. Without raising oneself to the standard of the mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which are the cause of demoniac life. Those in the mode of passion and ignorance deride the scriptures, deride the holy man, and deride the proper understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They disobey the instructions of the spiritual master and they do not care for the regulations of the scriptures. In spite of hearing the glories of devotional service, they are not attracted. Thus, they manufacture their own way of elevation. These are some of the defects of human society which lead to demoniac status of life. If however one is able to be guided by proper and bona fide spiritual master who can lead one to the path of elevation to the highest stage, then one's life becomes successful. By one's Actually, the devotees of the Lord, they are distributing Sukriti. And the greatest auspicious thing in our lives will be to come in association of one such devotee. Because our association is responsible for all transformation in our lives. So thus ends this chapter, the divine and the demoniac natures. What is the result of our association in the material world? Actually, here the qualities of the demons are discussed in detail, but the qualities, divine qualities, should be discussed more. So, but we don't think we have time. So we can discuss some of these since we have time. What qualities to inculcate? So here the first three shlokas are devoted to that. The supreme fearlessness. The first thing that will develop in Sattva Gun is fearlessness. He will get rid of all fears because he will have a perfect understanding that this world, is a bundle of experiences, and one experience, which I think is grief, will also pass. And everything is happening here by the will of Lord. Again, accepting Lord's power and authority, we become fearless. What is there to fear? What will happen at the most? I will die. Everybody has to die one day. So person who is in knowledge, who is in sattva gun, he will not be. Look at Kansa. I mean, if you go by modern standards, he was always depressed. He was hallucinating, in fact. He was in so much depression that he was seeing Krishna everywhere. He was so stressed by his death. Though the truth is that if death comes, no one can do anything. Trying to avoid that which cannot be avoided. So, next is purification of one's existence. So he will at least endeavor to purify him. He will understand that it is important to purify. In Sattvagun, that understanding will, in Rajogun, that understanding will never develop. That I have to purify my existence. I have to engage in Lord's service because that knowledge is missing. And even if the knowledge is there, the demons have a mentality, they will not accept it. Even if you tell them, oh no, this is not. Cultivation of spiritual knowledge. They will have interest. If you are in the mode of passion, you will never even, bother to turn this way. They'll not have any interest. The demons. Self-control. All the senses they try to control. At least with their mind, what to do with the senses, they know. So many qualities. Topmost is actually humility in this. They have forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from passion for honor. So they will forgive very easily. They don't consider anybody as, because they know the enemy, everything is designed by God. What will the enemy do to me if God is there? So these people are also very forgiving. They don't keep it for long. They will forgive very easily. Look at Draupadi. So in Mahabharata, this Ashwathama, he kills all the 5 sons of Draupadi in sleep. What a, such a gory act to kill somebody's children, young boys, all young, 20, 21. And all of them he killed in sleep. And when he killed them, Bhim, he catches Ashwathama by his hair and pulls and drags him in front of Draupadi. See, Draupadi, see, this is the person who killed your children. So when he's dragging him like that, Draupadi says, what are you doing, Aryaputra? He's our Guru's son. We must not do like that to him. Just imagine a woman who has lost 5 young boys. Somebody has killed 5 of her children. She's still conscious of her own karma. She says, no, leave him. Because he has done bad doesn't mean we will do bad to him. Leave him. So what do you mean by forgiveness? We don't forgive even small issues. Somebody doesn't listen to us, give him back 1, 2, 3, 4, but no forgiveness. Forgiveness means you are calm and quiet when the thing comes or when the thing goes. So these are such wonderful qualities that you can go on discussing them. self-control, performance of sacrifice, steady on the Vedas, austerity, simplicity. This, I think, in our class, Bhakti Dhira Damodar Swami Maharaj explained what is the meaning of simplicity. It means that a person is the same inside out. Normally, we see that, a person thinks something, but he speaks something and portrays to be something else. This is complexity, and simplicity is just the opposite. That person with ease, he will speak the truth because he's the same person inside and outside. So these are some of the wonderful qualities I have discussed today. There are 26 here. So, any questions or comments about today's class? The chapter has ended. So, what is the result of our association? Also, we have learned in the form of these qualities, how they can be cultivated.
Maataji,
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maataji. I have one question.
Yeah, Prabhu. Oh, Prabhuji, please unmute yourself. I was supposed to mute myself.
Okay. I have one question from yesterday's class. Yesterday we were discussing about Grihastha Jivana. So we discussed about a person who is staying alone and is not having sebas from any of the family member. He he is away from he is away from Grihastha and he will be like not living any Grihastha Jivana. Right? So now I want to understand, like let's say a person who is studying, he is away from his family, he is in hostel. Um, then after completing his study, he start working. Again, he is alone, without his family, and he continues his life like that. So, is still he is living in Grihastha Jivana or not? Mataji, you are mute.
Hare Krishna. Uh, Actually, I had explained to you the meaning
Yes.
that the voice is echoing.
It's audible. Now again you muted Mataji. Mataji, you muted yourself.
So, grasta means uh, living with the woman, taking services from her, whether it is your mother or uh, your wife, your sisters also taking services. That so spree means actually expansion of desire. Srila Prabhupada many times said, I also live in a house, I use a car, but I am a sannyasi. What is the difference? Living in a building is not sannyas. Sannyas means you are now fully engaged in service of the Lord. So whether you are living in a hostel or alone, what is the purpose? Are you contributing towards the fulfilling the desires of your family members or yourself, or are you engaging in the service of Lord?
Okay.
If you are not engaging in the service of Lord, that is not sannyas. So this is the difference, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mataji, sannyasis basically we leave the home and go. We follow the path of the spirituality and we serve Lord. maybe Krishna, Rama, we serve the Lords, and we totally get involved also with spirituality,
Hmm. Hmm.
family, or taking sevas from the other people. But my question is, there is a difference between grihastha and sannyasi, correct? If a person is not at all with family, but he is living alone, and then he is not into 100% spirituality, but he is like material as well as spiritual. So that won't be called as sannyasi, but what we can call that as?
That is a grust only because you are earning money. What are you utilizing that money for? That purpose, whether you are enjoying your family members or not, but aren't you contributing towards their well-being?
Uh, Another question here, Mataji. Let's say the person is earning, but he is helping the poor people with that money, and he is giving dana to different communities for different help for good cause. And whatever money he needs for himself, he keeps that. Other than that, he keeps dana and dana for the good cause. So what will call it as?
Prabhuji, the good
Because he is
and
earning.
bad.
Because he
Yes,
is
yes,
earning money now.
he's earning money.
Yes.
Now tomorrow we will do chapter 17, and in that this doubt will be clarified.
Okay.
Ki dan also, you have relative goodness in the world. Based on your association, your good and bad will differ. Like I know people of certain communities where if somebody dies in the family, they serve liquor and meat on the 17th day. So according to them, that is good. So your good and bad is relative. We are in Bhagavad Gita, we are talking about the ultimate good. So maybe if you feed somebody, help the poor, uh, temporarily it is going to help them. But we want to help everybody permanently.
Okay, Mataji. Okay. Like
Yeah.
yesterday, we were discussing transferring the Lord's name to another person, or helping another person to chant or to serve the Lord is the permanent helping.
Yeah, because
Yes.
he will transcend the modes.
Yes.
If if you give somebody food,
That is for
he is
temporary.
in tamogun, will it transfer him from tamogun to sattvagun?
No.
But if you serve him prasad, it can. So that is the right charity which helps you climb up to the root of the banyan tree. That is the best charity. Now he is born in animal species. Say, suppose you see a dog. He is born in animal species. And you give him a bone. Will his next birth be in human form, or will he transcend to sattva gun? You protect his life and he kills many other cats. You give him food. You give food to a beggar. For every day you give to him. I have seen, in charity also people are feeding people, things which are not even sanctioned in the Shastra. Will his position change in the next birth? Will he get a better field of activity? No. The best help you can do to others is help them transcend this banyan tree. At least try to get them to mode of goodness. which is the cause of their misery. Their past association, because of that, they are in such a miserable state today. Help in that.
Yes, Mataji.
So I hope that okay, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
So any more questions?
Yes, Mataji. Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
My realization is 15th and 16th chapter is uncommendable. Like that is more understanding you need for this, like, for grasping this chapter, basically. And my doubt is, like, in the 18th shloka, it's Pradesh, second line, Mama Tatpar Deshu Pradishto Suika. That the second line, what it means.
Mataji, some echo. I'll just come to 18. You are reading the translation, right?
Right, Mataji.
Ahankaram balam darpan kamam krodha cha samshita mamatma paradeheshu pradvishanto bhyasuta. Ahankaram, false ego, balam, strength, darpam, pride, kamam, lust, krodham, anger, also samshita, having taken shelter of me, atma, in their own, para, in other, deheshu, bodies, pradvishanta, blaspheming, abhyasukha, envious. So Mataji, the Lord, I think there's some disturbance. So the Lord, like I told you, all the opulences come from Lord only, and Lord is situated in everybody's heart as Paramatma. So a demoniac person, being always against God's supremacy, does not like to believe in the scriptures. He is envious of both the scriptures and the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even when you see water, the taste of water comes from Krishna. He is the cause of everything. And if a person doesn't accept this, that's not God's fault. So God will remain God. His position will not change by our accepting or not accepting. So he is envious. The main thing, actually, the main fall down that we had in the spiritual world, which is our own original uh, home, is envy. Because we envied the Lord, we were thrown into material existence. So this is the demoniac person, demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is situated in their own bodies and in bodies of others. So if you are envious of a person, you are envious of the Paramatma inside him also. Because that Paramatma has given him that particular nature and the facilities he has. Nothing belongs to us. So when you are envious of another person, you are actually envious of God. So that I have already explained to you. So he does not know that present life is a preparation for next life. Not knowing this, he actually is envious of his own self as well of others. He commits violence on other bodies and on his own. He does not care for the supreme control of the personality of Godhead because he has no knowledge. Being envious of scriptures and the supreme personality of Godhead, He puts forward false arguments against the existence of God and denies the scriptural authority. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. So it all starts with lust, anger, greed. Lust develops when we are envious. If we love God, then we will serve him. As soon as this consciousness gets corrupted by association with Rajogun, this love for God, everything that you see in the material world is a corrupted reality of the spiritual world. Whatever is there in the material world, it exists in the spiritual world, but in the pure form. Why this tree is inverted upside down? It is a perverted reflection of whatever is there in the spiritual world. So, in the spiritual world, in our constitutional position, we had natural love for God. When we come in contact with the Rajogun, not Sattvagun, this love gets transformed into lust. Love means I want to serve. Lust means I want to enjoy. What is lust? I want to enjoy this woman. I want to enjoy this house. I want to enjoy my money. This mentality is lust. This is a corrupted mentality. So he is like, he doesn't accept to serve the Lord because he doesn't accept the authority of Lord. That is demoniac.
Right, Mataji. This 15th and 16th chapter is so depth chapter.
I
Like,
know.
I really know, but we found that I found that no knowledge. I have to gain the knowledge from reading and reading, having like many concepts are captured in this chapter.
Yeah, Mataji, how this like Prabhuji was saying that people do charity in the coming chapters, 17th chapter especially. Now we will know what is the divisions of faith, like how different divisions of faith also develop based on our association with these three modes of material nature. We will develop a certain kind of faith when you associate with a certain mode. Your concept of charity, your concept of religiosity, your concept of material life, spiritual life will also change based on your association. These modes are so strong. So our good and bad are relative in the material world. When we are discussing Bhagavad Gita, please remember that Lord Krishna is not talking to Arjuna to fulfill some relative cause. He is talking about the ultimate cause of human life. I will get a house, I will get a car. These are relative truths. Why they are relative? They are going to end with time. Anything which is under the influence of time is material. It will change. It will perish, which includes our relatives, friends, everyone, our material possessions, they will all end. You cannot take even a needle from here. You cannot take it with you. Not even the richest, not even people who go in Sputniks to other planets, they can't take. If he has to leave his body in the middle of space, even in the middle of space, this is the system of God. You cannot take anything which belongs to God. You are just you. All that you can, carry with you is these qualities which you inculcate in your consciousness. These qualities will decide your next field of activities. So, if you really want to make progress, please work towards inculcating these qualities. That is real good. These are all divine qualities. So I hope that answers your question, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Correct, absolutely correct. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Mataji, I wanted to tell you all that this Sunday we'll have celebration Narshing Dev Chaturdashi in our temple. And coming month, 1st July, we have our annual Rath Yatra also. So all of you are invited and accommodation will be provided for those who want to visit. It is a nice occasion to take association of other devotees. So all these occasions are designed so that one can, it's a nice way to associate with other devotees. And when we associate, we develop a appreciation for qualities of devotees. We see how they behave, how they serve, we see their enthusiasm, and all these things are contagious. By association only we acquire them. So we make sure that most devotees visit, and this is a nice time to one extend service to the Lord and also to get association of devotees. So you all are most welcome and you are invited. So please let us know in case you want to visit. One has to take out some time to stretch oneself on such events because material nature is such, it's like, chucky grind, no matter how much. So you have to steal away some time for yourself. If you don't make time, time will take you away. That's all. After some time, you'll be gone.
Mataji,
Yeah, Prabhuji.
I want to share my experience as you said about association with devotees. During Janmashtami, I used to go to ISKCON Bangalore and stay there one night for 3 days. It will be happening for 3 days. One day is 2 days Janmashtami celebration, and one day is the celebration of, I think, the food. We'll get all the foods and give to the Prabhupada and Lord.
Hmm.
So this celebration, uh, this whole 3 days, I will not feel about anything about work. I will not feel anything about family. It's like only Lord, and you are there,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
there is nothing headache, no tension. You are in a different atmosphere.
You are in Vaikuntha.
Yes, yes. It's like that environment, and what happens there, no? It's like all people are in same mindset, same concept, same theories, no deviation, no one is telling nothing different apart from Lord's. And whatever we are doing or whatever entertainment is happening there, that is along with Lord. So basically, it's basically we are trying to follow the path of Lord, and we are also entertaining ourselves because we are also having the fun activities. We are serving Lord, and these activities are we are doing along with Lord Krishna and Radharani. So that's how we are into the spirituality, or into the spiritual path, I can say. And I feel if someone join this kind of activities for a day or two, they will also feel the difference.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and
It
the
will.
energy, the energy around that atmosphere or the around the surrounding is full of hype, positive hype. There is nothing called negative.
Yes.
and we feel even if there is no flowers or something, but we feel a different kind of aroma. I don't know, but whenever I go to the temples, I feel some kind of energy is there. When I wave my hand, it's like uh, I don't know about Mataji if you know aura. We say aura, correct? The electromagnetic field of our body. So when I go to any kind of temple, I feel that aura around me, like some positive energy is around me. And when I wave my hand, I feel okay. This positive energy is guiding me. That's how I feel whenever I go into this kind of function or temple. I had very beautiful experience in my past.
It is there. In fact, this aura you are talking about,
Yes.
we had, I've had two experiences. I don't know. I think they have invented a machine also now to measure the aura.
Yes, it is there. Kalian photography.
Yes. So I had this experience. We had a devotee and they had invited someone to the temple and they measured the aura in Sikandrabad ISKCON, and an average person has an aura of about 1.5 meter. So they asked us to chant one round. And after that, they measured the aura. It increased to 14 meters.
Explain please, Mataji.
And another occasion I had when, in the modern world, a kitty party kind of a thing. I was invited and my sister had invited, and she said, no, no, they increase the aura by some kind of meditation or something. So this lady, she was explaining that what this aura does, your aura changes, is that you know you have chakras in your body. So the Sahasra chakra has to open when you are spiritually advanced. The Sahasra chakra opens, and in thousands of births, it opens 10%. For animals, it is closed, and they have a machine to measure that. She, because I was invited, I was hearing. So she measured everybody, some 25 people were there, and they measured some 15% was open, Sahasra. And then she came and put it on my head. So this, the entire machine, it started rotating like a helicopter. She couldn't hold it. So she said she chant. Even scientifically, so it's beautiful. Once you develop a taste for, this association, you will not like anything. That level of happiness is so high, because all happiness in this world comes from Ram. Rama means uh, pleasure. Uh, he's the pleasure powerhouse. All happiness in the world comes from Ram. So this temporary happiness, flickering happiness of the world is nothing compared to the happiness you derive by associating with Lord and his devotees. So when we have the Rath Yatra, we have festivals in the temple. The, it's not like an orchestrated band of music, but it is, it gives so much pleasure, and you can feel it from inside. That's why all these are designed. These activities are great opportunity to taste that pleasure.
Yes.
So looking forward to seeing you all. Uh, Please let us know so that we can arrange for your accommodation. So we will end the class here, and for today, tomorrow we'll again continue with our sessions. So till then, Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhuba eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namo. Ananta Koti Vaishnav ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.